Hello, everyone. I'm Don Murphy, your host and storyteller, and this is the podcast, Life is a Story We Tell Ourselves. I'm joined by my co-host and daughter, Anna Murphy.
Hello, everyone.
Our podcast brings you stories from everyday life that will inspire you, reveal a truth within the listener, and uncover the extraordinary in the ordinary. We will also explore some of life's more perplexing and challenging issues through storytelling, like science literacy and conspiracy theories versus critical thinking.
I grew up listening to my father tell us bedtime stories and stories around the fire on our many camping trips. My dad later began sharing stories from his journal on his Facebook page with family and friends all around the world, and they encouraged him to share these stories with families everywhere. My father grew up the son of a minister and eventually worked as a medical research assistant, a park ranger, director of California State Parks, and deputy director of the U.S. National Park Service. On the podcast, he shares stories from his precocious childhood, growing up during the civil rights movement, and dedicating his career to the preservation of parks.
And we don't just tell our own stories. In the coming weeks, we will interview guests such as Jon Jarvis, who was the director of the U.S. National Park Service during the Obama administration, award-winning environmental journalist Paul Rogers, and Yosemite Ranger and Buffalo Soldier reenactor Shelton Johnson. You may also want to check out some of our recent fan favorite podcasts like Take a Hike and Policing and American Racism.
We also welcome our listeners to go to our website, lifeisastorypodcast.com, and submit your stories to be shared on the podcast. So please join us every Tuesday for a new story. Remember to like the podcast and share with your family and friends. Subscribe to the podcast to receive regular updates. From our family to yours, stay safe, share happiness, and remember, the important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence.